Hey kijkers van DDG, wij zitten hier bij Riot Games. Nou, het kan natuurlijk maar één game zijn, League of Legends. We hebben een paar leuke vragen voor iemand van e-sport, want League of Legends, het draait ook om dat je het voor jezelf speelt natuurlijk. Alleen de e-sport scene is momenteel groter dan sommige sporten op tv. En daar gaat Wouter een aantal vragen over stellen, samen met iemand van Riot. Dus hier gaan we.
Ja, dankjewel David. Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Can you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Absolutely. So my name is Waylon Roselle. I'm the director of esports here at Riot Games.
Awesome. So we hear the term esports, like you drop it. David and I always talk about it on our stream, and they all know football and stuff. But how does esports differ from like watching football? For example, what is esports?
Yeah, I actually think there are many similarities. If you're a fan of football, and you like video games, then I think you're a perfect candidate for trying out esports. It's 5-on-5 competitive League of Legends, and it's people playing at the highest level in a professional league. So in Season 3 we created the LCS, or the League of Legends Championship Series, and that's the best 8 teams in Europe and the best 8 teams in North America playing in 2 different leagues, and they play weekly, so it's like a regular season. So you play 2 to 3 games every week, and you have a playoffs, and right now we're here at Gamescom, and we're celebrating the EU LCS playoffs, and they're starting on Friday, and teams play for a chance to go to the World Championships, which are going to start on September 15th. So it's we're trying to capture much of the same feelings that people have around watching traditional sports like football, excitement, passion, storytelling, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, because you actually have a lot of esports, like you have, for example, Dota 2 and a lot of other games as well. But League of Legends stands out. Why? Why does it have such a big following while Dota 2 also has a lot of viewers, or like other games? Why is League so popular with the esports?
I mean, I think one of the main reasons is just the passion that our fans have for the game. It really is you guys that just like make everything stand out. I also think that we've done a pretty good job, at least in the esports team, to listen to our audience and listen to the players. At Riot Games, we're really player first, player focused. So the only reason we're doing esports right now is because our players watched in Season 1 and they watched in Season 2, and more of them watch, and they've told us like, we love esports, we love watching League of Legends. So we've invested more and more into the team and to growing esports. So I also think that we've done a good job maintaining consistency and making it easy to be a fan. One of the big things we want to do in Season 3 this year is lay a foundation for esports to go forward for decades. And what that means is creating this seasonal format, so people who are fans of European esports, or League of Legends, they know Saturday, Sunday, every week you can watch League of Legends esports. So it's easy to be a fan. Just like you might, your favorite football team, when they're going to play next. Yeah. So you plan your life around that. We want people to be able to plan their lives around watching esports, and in Season 2 and for other esports, that's the old way of doing things is like, you have a tournament every once in a while, but it's really hard to follow and like really get into it on like a weekly basis. So we think that we've really moved esports a bit more towards the traditional sports scene, and we think that it makes it much easier to be a fan.
Yeah, because we actually saw in the past that it started off with a few streams actually. Like you had some DreamHack live stream where there was a tournament, and then like a few months later you had another live stream. Yeah. But now you actually see that LCS is like online almost every week. Yep. So you just explained a little bit about how you're gonna try to set certain days for it, but how do you see, like, let's be crazy, like 5 years into the future? It doesn't sound like a lot, but in this industry it moves so fast. Yeah. Do you have like any idea of what it's going to be like, or what you guys are planning to reach?
We like to joke that in 5 years we'll be on the moon at the current rate that we're evolving, but in all seriousness, you're correct in that esports is moving very quickly. I mean, this is the first year that we've really kind of like taken esports extremely seriously in terms of like investing in a league and building out franchises and making it like a truly great experience for our players. And I think that looking 5 years down the road, I hope that looking back, that season, like this current season 2013, will look kind of like child's play. I hope that we've advanced so far that people won't will no longer so esports versus traditional sports. I hope that everything will blend together into something that is uniquely esports, but is, everyone kind of just lives and breathes it. You have your super fans, you have your major franchises, you have your superstar players. 5 years from now, I hope that it's sort of become a part of everyone's life.
Yeah, exactly, because as we said in the beginning, you now have the whole football streaming industry. And of course, these traditional sports and esports are very different, and you guys also started off differently, as I said, with little DreamHack live streams. In your path in Riot, are you following the traditional sports? You have the goal to get it on television, or do you think while we are getting so big right now, we can make our own path and create a very new experience, maybe a more interactive way of hosting events?
That's a great question, and that's something that we actually talk about pretty often internally. I would say we look to sports and traditional sports not to copy them, but we try to look at some of the best things that they do. So, why is football incredibly exciting, or why does the NBA have a lot of style, or what do they do well to market and engage their players or their fans? And we try to take some of the best parts about each of them and then blend it together to make something uniquely about League of Legends. In terms of the platform, a lot of people ask whether or not we aim for television, and I'd actually argue that we can bypass television, because the streaming platform allows us to do so many interactive things. You can chat online with your friends while you watch, you can tweet, and you can engage in social interaction. You could also get a bunch of stats and look up and watch games or watch multiple things at the same time. And there's so many things you can do. I don't think that we've really fully explored the possibilities for what online streaming can be. Now, if our players want to watch on television, we'll try to go towards television. And a good example is in South Korea. Esports is traditionally viewed on television, so that's where our players want us to be. So that's why we've partnered with OGN to be on cable television there. But until our players, in North America, Europe, and around the world demand that we be on television, we're going to continue to try to evolve and make the best experience possible, and right now we're actually really happy with being online. We think it's a great place to be.
Alright, yeah, I agree with you. It's a very handy place because also all your supporters are, of course, online.
Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah. Currently with the LCS, we see that we have a slightly small number of teams. Now in the final stages, we have only 8 teams. I'm gonna relate it back to normal sports again, because that's the whole wicked waiting. Yeah, exactly. But we see a lot of teams. We are from the Netherlands, and even in the Netherlands, every province has their own football team, and every club has their own football team. And of course, esports is growing so big, and gaming in general. Do you think that just like football, you will have 24-hour channels where you have so many teams that you can follow? Or do you think let's stay simple, we got 8 teams so everybody can follow along? 8 times 5 players is hard enough already. Let's just keep it that way. Or are we going for the really big esports?
Yeah, that's another really good question that the community asks us a lot. I think right now, we'll always consider expansion when it's appropriate. The reason we wouldn't necessarily want to expand too quickly is because we also want to make sure that the teams are competitive within the league. We don't want a league that has the number 1 team is so far vastly more advanced that you have a lot of imbalanced games that isn't fun to watch. So actually, one of our main focuses next year will be on growing the challenger scene, which is essentially the semi-pro layer underneath the 8 pro teams. And if we create a more structured, more vibrant challenger scene, we think the number of competitive teams will increase, and that will naturally put pressure on us to expand the league. So I think it's most important that we focus on building out the ecosystem before we grow the pro scene. So we'll likely stay at 8 next year, but who knows? It's something that we really will consider in the off season, and we'll announce more after World Championship.
Yeah, exactly, because the World Championship is coming up right now. We had a great season of LCS, as I said, watching it on my television downstairs every weekend. But what am I going to look forward to, especially with season 4 coming up. I know you guys, you always change everything up. Right now we got an amazing LCS season. What are we going to look forward to in season 4 or in the nearby future?
I would say we're probably not going to change as dramatically from season 3 to season 4 as you saw from 2 to 3, just because we created the league in season 3 and that was a very big shift in terms of its structure. In the off season, we'll be taking a lot of the feedback, some of which coming from the players, on Reddit, on Twitter, on any kind of like our forums, any kind of social avenue where our players give us feedback. We listen to and we read all player feedback that's given to us. We'll kind of decide how we want to tweak the format, whether that's growing the challenger scene somewhat, or changing the number of weeks, or increasing or decreasing the number of games every day. Like, we're gonna look at more subtle tweaks, and a lot of our focus will be on making a better broadcast, working on our website to improve our web presence, and then building out the challenger scene. So there are a lot of things coming up, but really right now, to be perfectly frank, our focus is on the World Championships and making sure we get through Season 3 and we end very strongly. You might remember last year in Season 2 we had a few hiccups at the World Championships, so we're really focused on making sure that all the regional finals go well, so here at Gamescom, at PAX, and around the world, and then the 3-week World Tournament, we want it to be very, very smoothly, and then after that, I think we'll regroup and figure out what we're going to do next year. But, I kind of gave you a few hints at what we're thinking about at least.
Well, and I like those links. I'm gonna look forward to it. Thank you very much for the interview. Oké, dat was het dan, jongens. Zoals jullie hebben gehoord, e-sports, hetgene waar we nu al zo van houden, zal alleen nog maar groter en vetter worden. Laat even een duimpje achter. Laat ook in de reacties achter waar jij meest naar uitkijkt. Waar denk jij eigenlijk dat e-sport over 5 jaar zit? Vergeet even niet te abonneren op DusDavidGames. En dan zie ik jullie volgende keer weer. Ciao, mensen.